knew when they were off course and when they were on course. Many of our students sometimes wait weeks, if not months, to get relevant feedback to tell them if they're on or off course. What we've got to think about is how we bring data down to the front lines. What you're going to see on the screen right now are a couple of screenshots from work that Civitas Learning and Austin Community College, Valencia Community College, UCF, UMUC, and others are doing, where they're taking data from big systems and they're creating apps that go right to mobile devices and handhelds and others, so students can, faculty and advisors have tools that they can make sense of the data and then direct the learning journey. It's faculty members who have an infographic map of the engagement levels of the students in their class at that moment. It's students who are able to kind of find the best curricular resource for them. Students like you who've had this problem in algebra have found these 3 curricular resources to be happy. Or they can look at their degree journey and say, this is the best degree pathway for you. The idea is to be able to use that data to tune that learning journey. And you know what? Knowing you're off course is sometimes a good thing. Sometimes it's kind of hard to take the feedback. My wife has this, we had this great example in our house where my wife got a ticket from her driving. She got one of those photo tickets. You ever gotten one of those? My wife's from a small town. She's used to being able to get out of her ticket. She can call anybody and kind of work her way out. When I saw this ticket, I knew she wasn't going to get out of it. And I told her, I said, I don't think this is going to work for you. She goes, what do you mean? In the picture, she is on her cell phone, turned around, yelling at the kids while she's going 15 miles an hour over the speed limit. Like, I think they got you on this one. The data sometimes tells you you're off course and you're going in a different direction. But folks, it's not just about being engaging and leveraging the data. It's also about going to the final step here, which is thinking about the participants. When we drive from North Carolina to Austin, we've done this drive now about 10 times, our kids know the drill. The drive takes about 20 hours if everybody participates and engages and is actually a part of this entire process. We need people who will engage and who will be on purpose with us. And our kids know if we stop at the gas station, it is like a pit stop. You stop at that gas station and Alexandra takes Max to the bathroom, the 2 boys go to themselves in their bathroom, Julia takes the dogs to the grass to go to the bathroom, I'm filling up the car, someone's patting the bird on the head. Everybody knows their roles, right? And then everybody comes back in and we're able to get out of there as quickly as possible. What is clear in the world of education is it's not just about engaging learning environments and data-connected systems. It's about expectations of our students and of our teachers and of the people who are leading these, but especially the students. We can't be shy about this. I wrote this piece for the EDUCAUSE review that came out this last summer, which was an open letter to students that basically said, we're trying to build out a next generation of learning, but to do it, we need you to show up on purpose. We need you to engage, and we need you to bring a sense of tenacity, because the research says your sense of purpose, tenacity, and engagement is a huge variable in whether or not we can be successful in this. And we need everybody to kind of step up and do the work within this. If you actually look at, in fact, the work, we just wrote an article for the Lyceum Journal where we were talking about regional education ecosystems at work. If you look at a K-20 educational ecosystem, here's the deal we should make with students. We should say, we'll pull together our K-12, our community colleges, and our universities. We'll share our data, and we'll try to innovate with all kinds of technologies and techniques to help you learn more effectively. But here's the deal. Students, you show up on purpose. Do the work of figuring out why you're there and why you want to leverage that education. We need you to engage at a high level, and we need you to bring a sense of tenacity and toughness to this journey, because it won't be easy. And if you do that, you have the right to expect from us that journey will be learning-centered. We'll focus on your learning first. Second, that we will make it data-rich. You'll know when you're on or off target. And third, as you're going through that entire journey, you have the expectation that it will be high value, that credential will carry some kind of value. It'll help you get a job. It'll help you move ahead. It'll help you learn the way you're supposed to learn, including the liberal arts, which means critical learning, creative learning, social learning. Folks, the social learning side of this, we're preparing students for the world as it is. Our world is fueled with technology and all different kinds of interactions. They have to know when to use technology and when to turn all that stuff off and have face-to-face interactions with people. Are you with me on that? Okay. What's the #1 way people get jobs after they get their great credentials from our institutions? Do they get their jobs because of the credentials? Most people get their jobs because of people who know people and know people. It's a social network. What's the #1 reason people are fired in this country? Take out economic downturn. #1 reason people are terminated from their positions. Is it technical incompetence? No, it's because they can't get along with other people. It's interpersonal conflict. The SHRM folks, Society for Human Resource Managers, call it the jerk effect. Either you're fired because you are a jerk or you're fired by a jerk. But there's always a jerk involved in the situation somewhere. Okay? It means our educational infrastructures need to be able to teach the technical skills, the critical thinking skills, the social skills to prepare them for the world as it is, and the courageous learning skills, the courage to learn something new. If you look at the data, it's just pretty clear. We are preparing students very often for jobs that don't exist yet. And I love this quote from Eric Hoffer. He said, "In times of drastic change, it is the learners who inherit the future. The learned usually find themselves equipped to live in a world that no longer exists." In fact, the neuroscientists are pretty clear about this. If you want to stave off Alzheimer's and dementia and keep your brain as fresh as you possibly can get, you've got to learn this lesson. Their line is, I love this, be a rookie every year. Try something that stretches you out of your comfort zone and learn to be a learner and kind of drive to that next level. And you pull all this together and think about the learning journeys for our students. And I think about my own learning journey as I was going through higher education. Coming out of my family, I was a first-generation student. I walked onto Mesa Community College's campus as a 17-year-old going through what I call post-traumatic jock syndrome. I didn't know what I was going to do. It was, I did not know what an AA stood for. I didn't know what an AS was. I did not know what a BA was. I kind of knew what BS was, right? Because I was figuring it out as I went along. But one thing became clear to me is that community college changed my life. And it did so because faculty members like Jim Mancuso and Rick Myers and others got in my face and challenged me to take what I was doing to the next level and think about what I could possibly do. Transferred from there to Arizona State to a master's, here to a PhD at UT Austin. But it was about an education ecosystem that worked and gave me different opportunities. I was at most what they would call a 1-1 kid. My kids are what people call 6-1 kids. 6-1 kids are kids that have 2 parents, 4 grandparents, and all care about their success. That's a different scaffolded kid, right? Every one of my kids had a University of Texas at Austin onesie on in the crib, okay? Different set of expectations. Our education system has to work for diverse learners going on different kinds of paths and trying to be successful. What we know, and I'm thinking about, again, with my own kids, is their journeys are going to be heavily supported. We know lots of students who aren't going to be as supported. But we need an educational system that can have an interactive, rich experience together with data, together with on-purpose students that can reach diverse learners in the best way we possibly can. Final idea, folks, is thinking about who these students really are and figuring out how we catalyze these conversations to make this change. What I know from working with hundreds and hundreds of institutions, K-12 and community colleges and universities from around the country, if you're going to catalyze these conversations about blending traditional and new technology, about leveraging data, about challenging students to go to the next level, there are 2 groups that come out really loud and proud in the world of education that cause real challenges. I call them the loud voices. One set of loud voices are the caustic cynics, who are angry about everything. It doesn't matter what you're talking about. You're bringing manna from heaven, too salty for them, right? A friend of mine calls them cave people, colleagues against virtually everything. How many of you can think of a cave person somewhere in your world that you know? Well, nod up and down. If you can't think of the cave person, you might be. Just want to point that out. Then they're only equaled by the challenges they have by the true believers. The true believers overpromise and underdeliver, and they cut the credibility out of their initiatives. And many of our education conversations get hijacked by loud voices on either extreme, and they tend to be bullies. What we need is people who have the courage to calm down the caustic cynics, temper the true believers, and create a space where we can have the tough-minded analysis and figure out how we create the most robust learning journeys for these students. Yeah, there's a lot of inane nonsense from entitled people in the world of education, but there are millions of students in this state who are striving, who are trying to use education to be a pathway to possibility, and they deserve every bit of our effort to try to open up that pathway. Thanks, folks.